Our final race of the day here at Snetterton. As ever, it promises to be the best. Harry Volkart promoted to pole position. Giovanardi looking to make it 3 wins out of 3. Championship leader Turkington looking to get back to winning form. Louise is down on the touring car grid.
Yeah, I'm down on the grid with VXR boss Ian Harrison. It's been a pretty good weekend for you guys, hasn't it, so far? I mean, particularly for Fabrizio, 2 out of 2.
Yeah, it's a bit of a game of two halves today. He's had a great weekend, 2 wins, as you say, but the other 2 guys have had a bit of a nightmare so far, so we'll have to see what happens in this one.
Matt's been in all sorts of wars, hasn't he?
Yeah, just a bit. And he's not in a very good position in this one because of his finishing position in the second race. So this could be a bit of a crash fest, this one, I think. So hopefully he'll come through and get a result. He deserves it, really.
Well, and the problems that he had in that second race, I mean, he actually ended up catching out his teammate Andrew as well, didn't he? Yeah,
there was a bit of that in turn 1. He had a problem with the engine at the start. So he jumped the start and then stopped and then went again, and they all collected each other in turn 1 with Tom Chilton. So it backfired a little bit, and that's just the way it goes. And this race here, I think, certainly turn 1, you've got to keep your fingers crossed that everybody's going to get through. It's going to be a bit of a go, I think.
But Fabrizio, where he's starting, is going to be right in the thick of it, isn't he?
I think that by the time he gets there, hopefully it'll all happen, and it'll be like Moses, really, and it'll be opening partner of the waves. So I don't know, Lou. It's a bit of a lottery, this one.
What do you think this weekend's done for his confidence and his, not his enthusiasm? He never lacks that, but to have such a good weekend so far.
Yeah, well, he came here in the right frame of mind. He was very relaxed. He's been flying his aeroplane around Italy for the last few weeks. So he was very relaxed, and we thought if we can get the car hooked up for him that he'd have a good weekend, and it's proved that way. So just hope we can make it 3 good results, really, because Colin is driving very well, and he had a bit of bad luck, and he'll be trying to make up some points in this race.
We'll be keeping our fingers crossed with him. Let's see if we can grab a word with a few of the guys on the grid. I wanted to have a chat with Harry Volkart. He's not here yet, but I tell you what, let's go and have a word with James Nash. We don't hear much from him. He joined British Touring Car Championship in the 3rd round at Donington. So first time he's been on the front row. And how are you feeling about it, starting from the front row?
Oh, it's just great fun, even driving past all the cars down there. It's absolutely fantastic. Yeah, very nice feeling.
No nerves?
Not yet, no, they will kick in, I'm sure. Yeah, just concentrating on with Harry getting a clean start. Hopefully he'll fluff his, and I'll get past him, and he'll hold the BMs up, but we'll see how it goes.
Well, you and Harry were having a chat in the back of his transporter a little while back. What were you talking about? How to hold all the other guys behind you?
Yeah, we're just having a quick chat about how we can hold the BMWs up behind us, really, off the start. We know how good they are. And it's just a few tactics so we don't mess each other up. But after the first corner, it's an open game.
Well, listen, have a good one. Let's go and grab a quick word with Harry Volkart in a car that's looking rather different this weekend, renamed Bamboo Engineering. It's the same car as he was racing at the last round, the same team as well. And you're well placed to get a good result here, aren't you?
Yeah, obviously we've been fortunate enough to get the reward for the reverse grid, so fantastic to start on pole again. We've had a fairly trying couple of weeks since our last race when we've been changing teams, obviously, but I'm glad to say I think we've got all the good people from Tempest with Bamboo, and things are looking bright and things are looking towards the future. Just tell us a bit about the work that the guys have had to do to actually get this car here, because you had a huge stunt last time out, didn't you? Yeah, this is actually the shell that I raced last season, but it's been back to RML, and they've had it on the jig and put it back together, and they've updated it to current spec. Obviously all the livery's new with Bamboo, so to be honest, I've spent all this week down at the Bamboo livery at Silverstone, and they've had so much to do. The guys have done a 36-hour stint just to get the thing ready, so hopefully I can get a podium for them and hopefully do something for the team.
They've worked hard for it. We wish you all the best, and we'll be back to see how it gets on after this break.
Round 18 of the High Q MSA British Touring Car Championship, with all the unpredictability of the mixed-up grid. The Snetterton crowd, they're all ready to be entertained, and so too are our commentators, Tim Harvey and Ben Edwards.
Absolutely, looking forward to this final race of the day. seen lots of action already, Tim, and we're going to see some more in this one.
Well, traditionally it always kicks off in the last race. 2 Chevrolets on the front, planning how to stop the BMWs, who have been planning how to get through to the front. So we'll see what happens.
It worries me. They've all been talking about their plans. You know what it's like. It's always different when it gets underway. Let's take a look at the way they do line up then for this final race of the day. And it is the 2 Chevrolets on the front row of 2 young drivers in British touring cars. Harry Volkard and James Nash out to prove themselves. But right behind are the 2 BMWs of the Airwaves team, the very experienced Rob Collard and the very rapid Johnny Adam. On the 3rd row of the grid, watch out for Paul O'Neill and James Thompson, 2 friends but 2 hard racers. And then we're into some guys who can really do something as well. Jason Plato and Colin Turkington, but they're coming from row 4. Top 9 reverse, which means that Fabrizio Giovanardi, double winner today, starts 9th. Then it's Gordon Shedden returning to British Touring Cars this weekend in the first of the Cartridge World Cars. His teammate starts in 11th place. Andy Jordan is alongside on that 6th row of the grid. Back on row number 7, it's Stephen Jelly with Matt Neal, who's having a really tough weekend so far. And then behind them, Martin Johnson and David Pinkney on row 8. Down towards the back of the grid now, and coming from the back, John George. Matt Jackson, not sure he's actually made it out on the circuit, had problems earlier on. And at the back of the grid, you can see him there is Tom Chilton for Team Aon in the Ford Focus. Now, we mentioned that Matt Neal's been having a rough weekend. He came into the series this weekend in 2nd place in the championship. Let's grab a quick word with him. He's been in the commentary box to Matt. Matt, it's been a bit of a tough weekend for you so far. Can you turn it round in this one?
I hope so, mate. I want to put those behind us. The car feels good under me now, so we'll see what progress we can make from here, eh?
Your guys have been a bit busy, I think, between these last 2 races, haven't they?
Yeah, mate, we had to change an engine after race 2, so we just got it done for about 15 minutes to spare.
Okay, well, best of luck with this one, and let's hope that everything comes together for him, Tim.
Yeah, I mean, the team, BX Racing, very, very experienced. They can change that engine. It comes with all the ancillaries bolted onto it. They wheel a trolley under the old one. When the new one comes in with everything bolted on, they're very, very efficient. So I'd have been surprised if they hadn't done it.
Well, there's the series director, Alan Gow, keeping a close eye on things, as he always does.
Director or dictator, sorry. Yes, the man in charge, anyway.
Indeed he is, and delighted with a great turnout of fans here at Snetterton this weekend. There we are on board with Colin Turkington. Came into the weekend leading the championship, still leads the championship, but he's not quite had the level of success he had at Alton Park and Croft. Nonetheless, useful points he's been scoring. And there you are looking at the front suspension on his car as he weaves around trying to develop a little bit of tyre temperature. So Turkington in good shape, but he's got to work a bit harder this time to pick up the points. There's Jason Plato, who fought very effectively in that 2nd race, coming from the back of the grid, overtaking lots of cars.
Yeah, vintage Plato, that was a really good drive. I mean, he went for it in the 1st race, it didn't come off, but then the 2nd race, he really picked his way through, set the fastest lap, and he really did have a very quick car in that Chevrolet. Don't forget, it was on pole as well, so it's well capable of coming through again in this race.
James Thompson's one to keep an eye on too in the Team Dynamics Honda Civic. He's been fast all day, but it's Harry Volkard, the hub machine, is the one lining up on pole position for Bamboo Engineering. James Nash alongside in another Chevrolet Lacetti. 23 years old, both these guys, so they're youngsters in British touring cars. Certainly less experienced than some of the cars that are lining up behind them, but a great opportunity for them too to show what they could do. And they were racing hard in race 2 particularly. They had good pace throughout that race. It's a question of how well they get off the line.
Yeah, watch Collard, particularly the 3rd car, the 2nd one on the left behind the pole car. He does make really good starts, and he'll be trying very hard to jump across or jump ahead of Nash on the right there in the blue car, and if possible get between the 2 of them. But I'm sure they're going to try and close the door.
This could be a very exciting finale to the action here at Snetterton today as we get this 2nd half of the season underway. Waiting for the red lights to come on. Lights out, away we go, and here comes Collard through from the 2nd row, and he's already ahead of the 2 Chevrolets. How quick was that? You said he was the one to watch. An absolutely amazing start by Rob Collard. He leads into the 1st corner. Nash takes 2nd, Volkard in 3rd, Johnny Adam in 4th. Then it looks like it's Colin Turkington, I think, so he's had a good getaway as well.
Yeah, well, it went exactly as I thought. Nothing was going to stop Rob Collard getting through that gap. Nash tried to come across, but Collard was already there in the first 10 metres off the line.
So Turkington really got away well. John George in trouble, but James Thompson was on the attack as well. This is going to be fun down into the S's for the first time. Rob Collard has leapt out in front, but Nash is in second place. Johnny Adam trying to come around the outside. Turkington's there as well, side by side with Volkard. He's going to try and squeeze through on the inside. I think he has done so. Thompson lost out a bit coming down the Revit straight there, I think, but he's still tucked in behind Paul O'Neill, and Jason Plato's just ahead of those two. So far, so good. The rear being brought up by Tom Chilton in the Focus.
Well, it's a bit of scrapping, and Tomo side by side there, I think. Oh, Volkard off! Oh no, that could be another big repair job, and Thompson off as well. But that could be another big repair job for the RML team. Well, poor Harry Volkard, he started on pole, but he's had a rough run so far.
That is a great shame. We couldn't see what happened there, but unfortunately he's out of the action. Rob Collard leads, James Nash in second, and then into third place is Johnny Adam now. Fourth place for Colin Turkington. But Turkington under a bit of pressure from Plato. You're looking at that now. Turkington in the orange Team ROC car, really under pressure from the blue Chevrolet of Jason Plato, and points so crucial here. Giovanardi, by the way, has got up into 7th place, and Plato definitely on the attack, trying to use the good speed in a straight line of that Chevrolet Lacetti to get past the BMW. But this is where Turkington really needs to protect, but he can't. Plato's ahead of him already as they turn in.
Yeah, Plato's got that Sia corner onto the Revit straight, really taped, and he comes off there with a good 5 mile an hour quicker than the other cars, and that just takes him, leapfrogs him past by the end of the straight. Great pass.
Turkington now has got to watch out from behind. He's got Paul O'Neill tucked in behind, so not that easy at the moment for the BMW driver, and Giovanardi's in there as well. And he'll be very aware there's a chance to further close the gap in the points here. Down into Russell they come, bobbing over the curb on the inside. Giovanardi in that group, as is Adam Jones. Further back you can see Dave Pinkney and also Tom Chilton. But as they come across the line, it's still Collard that leading. Now, what happened to Volkard here?
Yeah, just watching the background, I think it was with Thompson. Yeah, they were side by side, and it's one of those places where the slightest touch can fire you off, a bit like the top of the Craner curves at Donington. We've seen it happen there, but very unfortunate for Harry. For all, I think that was Pinkney on the grass on the way back, but just for all you Matt Jackson fans, it looks like he didn't start the race, unfortunately. He's not shown on the timing screen.
That's a great shame for Matt Jackson. Didn't manage to make it back out, but Rob Collard is leading this race. He's got a 1.4 second lead over James Nash, driving brilliantly well, James Nash. You know, he's been impressive coming into touring cars this year. Bit of a slide there from Plato, a bit of a tyre smoke as well. Then Turkington, O'Neill, Giovanardi's in the middle of that group as well. So is Adam Jones and Stephen Jelly. Andrew Jordan's holding on to 10th place, so he's in the group. Then it's Matt Neal. Dave Pinkney's been passed, I think, by Gordon Shedden on that last lap as well. But Collard, having made the best start, really making the most of this now. James Thompson has rejoined. You can see he's up ahead of the leaders. This is the start from Rob Collard's point of view.
I mean, in his mind, he's focused exactly where he's going. I mean, as you say, the first 10 metres and the car was absolutely hooked up and launched. Brilliant start.
Absolutely perfect. That's how you want to do it every time. But he's got the lead in this one, and we've seen Collard already do this a couple of times this year. Once he gets in front, he's pretty comfortable, but Turkington is not comfortable. He's got O'Neill attacking one way then the other, trying to get past him as they come into Sears corner, but Turkington just gets through the corner ahead and is busy defending from this rapid Honda Integra, which has really been one of the stars of the weekend, with that podium early on, fought for a podium in the second race, dropped back a couple of places in the end, but he's still going for it. Yeah,
and the track is a few degrees hotter now. I found out the Porsches, it was a good sort of 2 or 3 tenths of a second slower, so that's going to help Paul O'Neill, because his car looks after his tyres very well. I think if he continues without problems, he'll be very strong by the end of the race again.
He's got Giovanardi behind. We're looking from Turkington back at O'Neill, but behind O'Neill is the Vauxhall of Giovanardi, and we've seen how fast he's been today. And Giovanardi has actually got a bit of pressure on him at the moment from Adam Jones in the Cartridge World Seat. So you see how close they get to the posts down there at Russell. Great view from looking at the back of Turkington's car at Paul O'Neill. But Collard has completed another lap. That's 4 laps completed. We're on to lap 5 now. Collard leading by 3/4 of a second. James Nash and Johnny Adam.
Well, Mickey Butler from Dunlop was showing me some of the tyres in the compound, and these guys have picked up an awful lot of slices in the tyres from running over the inside of the track. Here again, right across the inside. You've got to be very careful, and again on the outside there, you don't pick up a little flint that can cut the tyre, but there's no other way around this Snetterton track. If one's doing it, all of you've got to do it.
Pollard is not getting away quite as much as we thought. Look at the way James Nash is staying with him. Great effort from him. Johnny Adam is in third. Airwaves cars first and third at the moment, but will it stay that way? Because Jason Plato is putting Johnny Adam under pressure. He's got fastest lap last time around, a 1:12.1. That's a quick lap time, no doubt about it. And Plato is on the attack here. He's putting Johnny Adam under pressure. The young Scot who's driven superbly today and withstood the pressure from Turkington. Can he do it now with Plato behind him?
Very close indeed, but Johnny Adams got a good way of defending into there. He just aims at the apex when he brakes, which makes it very difficult for the car behind to cut back.
Johnny Adams come through the hard knocks of single mate racing. That's Tom Chilton recovering from and off. Don't know what happened to him, but he gets back on. And we're on board with Plato once again. Johnny Adams, twice a SEAT champion, a Renault Clio champion as well. He knows what close racing is all about. But he's up against some of the best, and he's actually left the door open, and Plato's alongside. Plato's through, squeezes him out, as he has every right to do. Well, I'm surprised he left the door open, and Plato took full advantage there.
Yeah, Johnny carried a little bit too much speed into Riches, and then Plato was able to catch him through the corner on the exit, and Johnny didn't defend hard enough, but great pass by Plato.
Fired up, isn't he, Plato? He really knows he's got a good car, but he's got in too deep, and he's cut across the grass. Oh, and he's just thrown away the advantage that he gained, and in fact, he's done some damage. He's done some damage, he can't continue. Oh, Plato, what have you done?
He's got a puncture, but I'm not sure, or something more serious. I mean, I'm not sure if that's what put him off in the first place. It's difficult to say, but what a shame. He was on for another fantastic result.
Oh, that is a pity, because he was really putting himself back into the championship hunt. Look at this battle for the lead. What about James Nash here, Tim? I mean, you know, he's only done a few touring car races, first season. He's fairly inexperienced in racing terms. Yeah, look at him.
Well, James, Collard's made a mistake. Is there fluid down or something? There may be some fluid down, because they both had a big wobble there. But just going back to James Nash, he's come from the SEAT Euro Cup series. There's definitely fluid down. They're all locking up and going wide.
Yeah.
So there's some oil or some coolant down. It's going to really shake things up. Every corner is now a danger. Chilton's off. It may be come from his car. Is that a trail of oil or something coming? And is that oil on the track in front of them? Look, yeah. They're all staying on the inside. There's a big trail of oil there. They're seeing it. Johnny Adam or one of the BMs is on it. Yeah, flags, but they're going to have to... Oh!
James Nash sliding. They're all on the oil. They're trying to stay on. This is frantic stuff, doing a fantastic job. They've got the yellow flag to warn them, but when you hit oil, then it really can be disastrous. I'm wondering whether it could be Plato's oil indeed. I don't know.
I'm not sure, because where he's gone off there is actually not where Plato drove. He went across the grass.
That's
but I think the safety car is coming out. Plato's looking to make repairs. He may not go a lap down if he's lucky, but no, he will do now.
Yeah, too late, I'm
But
afraid.
this is going to change things. But just going back to James Nash, I came across James at the end of last year when he tested one of the Motorbase cars, and I was immediately impressed by his calm, professional approach to it, and really very unfazed by it, and a very mature young man, and he's shown that in his driving.
Yeah, I'm really impressed with what he's done so far. Comes from Newport Pagnell, raced in British Formula 4 back in 2007, only a few years ago. And then that Spanish SEAT series, the Euro series as well. Looking back here, this was Jason initially.
Yeah, I think he had the puncture already, because that's why he went off. The wheel was well and truly locked up, so I think he'd already punctured it. But we talked about the drivers being careful and not getting stones in the tyres by shortcutting the circuit, and that's probably what's happened there. And you can't fault Dunlop, it's the drivers trying to take maximum advantage.
But then Plato always said he was going to take some risks this weekend. He knew it was a crucial stage in the championship. So Chilton's car is yet to be recovered. I'm sure they'll leave the safety car out until it has been. And whether they soak up the oil or what they do, I'm not quite sure. So Matt Neal, by the way, has moved up to 7th. That's a good improvement from where he started. We might have a little bit of an opportunity to chat to Matt Neal.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to hear whether it's oil or coolant, because that'll determine how quickly it dries as well.
Yeah. Okay, let's see if we can grab a quick word with him. This is Ben in the commentary box to Matt. Matt, obviously it's very slippery out there. Is it oil or is it coolant? Can you tell?
Yeah, it looks like oil, Ben. It's right the way from the start-finish line all the way through to the S's, so it's covering a fair bit of the circuit at the minute.
Did it nearly catch you out, or were you on top of it?
I managed to fare okay through it. A couple of the guys in front of me had a bit of a slippy time through turn 1.
Okay, so you're up to 7th place. You've made some good progress in this race. Can you pick off a few more when the safety car comes in?
Yeah, mate, the car feels great at the minute, so it depends what progress we can make, how wide Fabrizio's going to be.
Okay, well, good luck. And Giovanardi is the next car ahead of him. That makes life a bit difficult.
It may do, but of course, now he's told us it's oil. It's something the drivers will just have to avoid because it won't clear up by running over it. It needs cement dust on it. So if it's coolant, it will evaporate fairly quickly. But oil, not so easy to treat. So they're going to have to drive very carefully now. Yeah, it's going to be a bit of a challenge. On board with Collard, trying to have a look at where the oil is. Tim, talk us through. What can you see, if anything, here? Difficult to see from that camber angle, but I mean, as a driver, you just see it in a different coloration on the track. I mean, it's not easy to see there. We saw it on that frontal shot coming up to the S's, but I can't actually see it there.
No, and as you say, they'll be doing their best to stay off it anyway. Chilton's car was being recovered. You saw that from the onboard view. This is going to make Collard's life a bit harder because although Nash was giving him a bit of a hard time, the two of them were quite a long way ahead of everyone else before the safety car came out.
Yeah, but it could help him in the sense that Turkington might get on the back of Nash and then the gap could open up again. So who knows, but certainly they're doing a very good job. But don't forget, Rob Collard's won 2 races this year already. And you give Rob a sniff of a victory, there's the Motorbase team. And Timmy is mechanic and Stu there on the left. You know, give him a scent of a victory and Rob will fight like a tiger.
Absolutely right. No, he's had those 2 very important victories so far. One at Donington, one at Brands Hatch. And this was a good race for the team, Motorbase team, last year as well. They got first podiums. Stephen Kane on the podium in one of the races. So Snetterton is pretty kind, and the Airwaves BMW guys will be hoping that Collard will hold on up front there. His teammate, by the way, Johnny Adam, did lose out a bit when the oil got laid down, so he's down in 5th place now. Paul O'Neill's up in 4th, of course. There's James Thompson, who's down at the back. He's down in 15th, but he's on the lead lap.
Yeah, well, he did go off, obviously, with the Harry Volkard incident. Now, we don't know if he incurred damage there or not, but he's, as you say, he's on the back of the pack, so if the car is strong, he can make some progress.
Yeah, so we'll see what he can do. He was running at a decent pace because he had rejoined, if you remember, not far ahead of the race leader. So I think the car probably is in reasonable shape. It's a question of how many places he can pick up. Now, I gather the lights are going out on the safety car, so they will be racing when they come back past our commentary position next time around. And it'll be Rob Collard who will do his utmost to repeat that fantastic start he made from a standing start off the line. But he's got James Nash behind him, then the championship leader Colin Turkington, then Paul O'Neill, who's fired up to try and get a second podium here today, then Johnny Adam, Fabrizio Giovanardi, Matt Neal, Stephen Jelly, Adam Jones is running 9th, and at the moment we've got Andrew Jordan in 10th and Gordon Shedden in 11th. All set to go for the restart. Safety car heads into pit lane and we're underway once again here on board with Rob Collard. As the and we've lost Johnny Adam. Johnny Adam, his teammate, has spun.
Well, he's either spun or he's been hit on the restart by somebody jumping the gun. We don't know, we'll have to wait and see. But very difficult for him. Look, they're avoiding the oil. We could see it on that shot before looking up the straight, but it's difficult for the leader because he has to judge how hard to drive, how much grip there is, and it's very tough. The cars following can judge their pace a little bit off of them because they get a split second of warning. Now, we're going to see what happened on the restart. Now,
oh, he lost it on his own.
Yeah, looks like he lost it on his oil, Yeah. Just jumping on the throttle a bit too early.
It cost Giovanardi and the guys behind them some time. They had to back off. Meanwhile, James Nash is having a little think about attacking for the lead here. He can't believe it. He's up there, though, and he's going to have a go. A bit of a mistake there. He's going to have to watch his mirrors now from Colin Turkington, who's directly behind. Collard breathes a sigh of relief, seeing that wiggle from the blue car behind him, and it's given him a couple of legs break.
Yeah, certainly at this point, I'd rather be in a rear-wheel drive car because you've got a little bit more control. Look, you see there, see how difficult it is to hold that front-wheel drive car. James Nash getting really sideways and now locking up into the chicane.
Yeah, and he's got to watch, trying to get the traction. He's got Turkington here, right behind him.
There you see the oil on the right.
Yeah, glinting, glistening.
Yeah, glinting, that's what the driver looks out for.
So that's what they're avoiding. Thankfully it's not online up to the Rich's corner. Watching the brakes in action there on Turkington's car. A steering effort as well going on, a lot of concentration. He's got Paul O'Neill immediately behind him as well. And Giovanardi is catching this group. You can just see the red bumper of the Vauxhall appearing in vision and Giovinazzi can see an opportunity to score more valuable points.
Yeah, Turkington's looking to get a good result, but he's right in the meat of the sandwich of three very hungry drivers there. Collard wants to win, Nash could get his best ever result, and O'Neill has already been on the podium today.
So this is a wonderful encounter here. Collard still in front. James Nash locks up a little bit. Oh, and Turkington, Collard runs a touch wide. It's so close. Turkington desperate not to get into trouble here. What he doesn't want is a non-finish, and he's in amongst some young, hungry drivers who are just desperate for any result. He's got to think of the championship. And meanwhile, Giovinazzi's getting closer and closer in the Vauxhall.
Yeah, I'm afraid he's in this situation. He's got no choice but to just get stuck in. You know, fortune favours the brave, and Turkington's got a race like he's just trying to win the race and not to try and drive defensively.
Yeah, absolutely, and they're all closing up to one another now. It's getting tighter and tighter up front. Collard still in front. Nash in second place and driving out of his skin here. Great effort from James Nash, but still it's Turkington we're on board with, who sits in third place. Listen to the throttle control. Really having to play the throttle with that oil still down. Up to see a corner. Look how tight it is. Using all the curves. Now he's got a great run going here.
Yeah, he has, but the Chevys are quick, and I'm not so sure he's going to take... Look, the Chevy's just pulling away a little bit, even in the slipstream. Don't forget that Turkington's got 36 kilos on board, so that's going to hurt him a little bit.
And he's going to have to watch out because O'Neill's right behind him too, so yeah, he's not quite there with him, so they still follow line astern. Oh, Nash almost made a mistake there. I wondered if he was going to run into the back of Collard. He has hit Collard! Nash hits Collard! Collard goes off! He's going to come back on in front of Matt Neal! It's Stephen Jelly! Jordan goes round the outside, and it's Stephen Jelly who gets collected by Rob Collard.
Well, that was always looking difficult, wasn't it? I mean, Collard was really careful through the S's. It was where the oil was down. Certainly a safety car's going to come out. You know, he really, I couldn't see what he did wrong there, but obviously coming back into the pack was always going to create a dangerous situation.
Safety car out, but only... Oh no! Oh no, they're under braking for the safety car. They've all locked up. The safety car was quite late coming out. How did Paul O'Neill keep that off the barrier?
Well, the rule is that when the safety board goes out, the safety boards go out at all the marshals' points from the start-finish line. So it's not a case of when the car comes out. It may be that the drivers hadn't seen the boards, but certainly...
Oh, that was so close to Paul O'Neill hitting the barrier hard. Just take a look back. This is the Collard-Nash situation.
Yeah, there's a little touch there. It's just enough to flick the back of the BMW. As he's on the grass, he can't stop the car. Jelly probably just didn't give enough room, and you know, well, a lot of damage there.
Yeah, nothing much he could do about it, and the collision made. Let's watch it from the onboard with Collard. And you see, this is coming into the S's. Yeah, Nash is close.
Yeah, he's defending there. Nash is just a little tap there, and then they're trying to get up the inside. Rob moves across, and there's just that. It's only the tiniest of touches on the back of that BMW, but he can't stop the car, and then right into the back.
Yeah, really tough. And Stephen Jelly was the one that got collected there, and two very damaged BMWs as a result. This is the other view of it. Watch the orange car of RAC's Stephen Jelly, and the rear wheel ripped off the Airwaves car. Huge disappointment. Both drivers out of the cars, they shook hands. There really wasn't much either of them could do about that situation. Just really unfortunate. Well, this is what happened at the restart. Let's just try and take a look. Oh, sorry, this is when the safety car came out. Yeah. He braked.
Well, it didn't look like they'd seen any boards, did it? Because they were flat chat across the start-finish line, and obviously James Nash slowed down not to go in front of the safety car, and Paul O'Neill was unsighted and did a miraculous save there.
Yeah, he did really well to save that, as you say, avoiding it. Collard looks just holding his ribs a little bit. That was a pretty hefty impact.
Yeah, I mean, fortunately it was on, you know, behind the driver's side, or driver's seat, but he's probably winded himself or jarred a rib there.
Yeah, maybe bruised a rib. That's pretty painful. But both drivers are okay. That's the main thing. And still a race to be won here, and there's a young lad called James Nash who's leading it. Let's take a look at Turkington's view of that Nash-Collard incident.
Yeah, he's on board with Turkington. Now there's a little slide there which slows Collard up, and then he moves to the inside. Well, there's the tap really. I mean, as you see, just the lightest of touch, probably no more than a little push.
Now we'll stay with this because, of course, what was going on now was at race control they were deciding, do we scramble the safety car?
Yeah, I mean at this point the crash has already happened. Look to the outside of the circuit. Look to see if you can see any safety car boards from the marshal's post. I can't see any. There should be one at the start of the finish line. So the first time they're going to see it is across the start finish. Now the flags are out on the right. Safety car there.
Yeah.
But of course he's had to brake because the safety car's come out late.
Yeah.
So you know, the first time they would have seen them would have been flat chat at 115 miles an hour across the start finish line. And really, yeah, the safety car should have been out a little bit earlier, or the flag should have been out earlier.
Yeah, it's always tight in that situation. There was that incident once again, that slight tap between Nash and Collard. Collard rejoining the circuit, and there's nowhere for Stephen Jelly.
In fact, if you looked at on that run, you could see Stephen Jelly was unsighted by the Vauxhall.
Yeah.
And when I first saw it, I thought, well, Stephen should have given him more room, but he was completely unsighted by the Vauxhall, so no blame there attached to either driver.
No, and that was the situation to a certain extent for Paul O'Neill when he braked late. He was unsighted because he was tucked in behind, wasn't he? So not much he could do. So it's going to be a couple of laps here. We've added some laps already, of course, because the safety car's been out. But we've got to move those two BMWs out of the way. And
well,
the damage that's
neither
done.
of those cars will tow, so they both need lifting. And I mean,
Yeah.
poor Dave Barch must be looking at that and wincing at the look of the damage there. That's in a nasty place on the body shell. And but yeah, it's going to take a while to move.
Yeah, absolutely right. So let's just run through the order. It's Nash leading, Turkington second, O'Neill is third, Giovanardi's fourth, and Matt Neal is now up into fifth place. Now, we said he'd been having a horrible weekend. It's proving to be an extremely eventful weekend. He started from 14th place on the grid. Let's have a quick word with him. Matt, this is Ben in the commentary box. Things are going reasonably well according for you, but it's a pretty fraught race. That safety car coming out all seemed quite last minute.
Yeah, Ben, I think at that time, mate, I mean, it was a pretty big shunt by the looks of it with the two Beamers.
Now, obviously, you're into a good position as a result of all this, but what about track conditions? Is that oil cleaned up?
Yeah, oil doesn't seem to be a problem at the moment, mate. My problem is I'm bottled up behind Fab, who's carrying a shed load of weight. I can't compromise him, but my car's good enough to move forward.
Okay, well, let's hope you get a few laps in at the end of this one. And funnily enough, actually,
Yeah, mate, cheers.
interestingly, behind him is the other Vauxhall, so all three Vauxhalls are actually running together now.
Yeah, and obviously a little bit of sort of angst from Matt Neal that Giovanardi in the heavier car is not making it easy for him to get through. But
this was Matt Neal's view of all that, actually, Tim. So he actually had quite a good view of Collard going off to the right, and then obviously he had to avoid it.
now Matt just misses it, but Jelly is right behind him, and that's what put Jelly into him. He just didn't see it.
No way. And Matt, as you say, only just missed him, didn't he? He had to really take avoiding action. Fast, building up to reasonably high speed. It's not particularly fast out of the S's, but as they go flat out through the bomb hole, they really are picking up some pace. And that's as a result, you can see the damage there. Damage to the right front of Stephen Jelly's car. Unfortunate, Stephen, he had an accident here in testing as well, didn't he, in the break between the races, and now he's ended up with this one. No fault of his own, really, but it's just an unfortunate occurrence.
Well, that car's had a bit of a hard life. That was the car that went in the wall, wasn't it, at Donington Park earlier in the year as well, and it's had quite a few knocks, but you know, the West Surrey team always seem to get it back in perfect shape, but it's all part of touring car racing, I'm afraid. You've got to take the knocks.
That's funny enough, I was talking to him earlier on, and he was talking about the highs and lows of motorsport, and of course last time out he had his best ever race weekend in touring cars. He was on the podium.
Podiums, yeah,
all those podiums, fantastic, and he got the champagne moment of the weekend award from the fans, BTCC fans. Well, this is the complete contrast, typical motorsport. It all goes completely wrong next time.
It is, and I mean, it's difficult to say where experience helps you in these situations, because they say you make your own luck, but in that sense, he really had absolutely no choice.
Nowhere to go, and there's the result. So, but it's great to see both drivers are okay, walking away from their very damaged cars. And those teams will get them ready. Knock Hill, of course, the next round on the calendar in a couple of weeks' time. And, well, you want your car in good shape for Knock Hill. It's always a demanding circuit.
Yeah.
No
The
doubt about
difficulty, I mean, what caused that was obviously James Nash touching the back of Rod Collard, but it's so difficult in a rear-wheel drive car, and your vision isn't that good out the side. And we saw, in fact, it's identical place on the track with Collard and Matt Neal rubbing wheels in the second race. or was it the first race? But it's very difficult to lean over on a car, in a rear-wheel drive car, without being spun out by the tiniest of touches. And your vision in the side mirrors isn't always that great.
No, that's right. So a tough one, really. You can't. I don't think there's much blame to be apportioned in that, is there? Either way.
No, that was just racing, and it's you know, if it had been two front-wheel drive cars, it wouldn't have really been an incident. They'd have both carried on, but it's just very unfortunate. That's the shot again of the right front strut and wheel on Turkington's car. You can see still working quite hard there.
Of course, it's damper technology and damper tuning that is such a crucial part of making these touring cars fast. I mean, I'm always amazed. We've seen it today, how they can cut the curb at Sear Corner. I mean, you know, having done a few laps around here myself over the years, normally if you bump over that curb in most cars, it really throws it all around, but these cars, they just soak it up.
Yeah, I mean, they have very sophisticated dampers. Both the BMW teams are running on Öhlins dampers with you know, good support from Öhlins, the factory. The lights are out, so they'll be going racing. But really, in controlling the weight of these cars, the dampers do all the weight, control all the weight and do all the work. But yeah, the lights are out and the truck's still there. So
yeah, that's interesting. I wonder if they've got it timed to perfection that the truck's going to move off. Yeah, he's going to the inside. That's okay. He's going behind the barriers on the inside of Coram. That's a safe place to be. So we are getting ready. We're looking at a potential new winner in British touring cars in his first season. Well, can James Nash hold on? This is going to be pressure like he's never felt before, with Turkington, O'Neill and Giovanardi behind him. Here we go, restart, and it's a good restart.
It's a very good restart. He went nice and early, got the jump on Turkington. Now we can see if he can just drive his own lines and keep that gap.
Brilliant restart by the youngster James Nash, who's taken the advantage again. Meanwhile, Giovanardi in the Vauxhall is putting O'Neill under pressure for third. I know Giovanardi really sees an opportunity here. He's got an overlap. He could be later on the race. He is. He's into third, and Giovanardi is still going for it. 2 wins today, and he's on for at least another podium.
Yeah, he's going very well, isn't he? He was, I'm not sure if Paul O'Neill's car isn't slightly hobbled, I'm not sure. Gordon Shedden's off, but it's not been a great return to the championship for Gordon, but he'll have learned from the experience with the Cartridge World team and hopefully come back stronger at his home race at Knockhill next time.
Turkington closing on race leader Nash. In the meanwhile, Matt Neal locking a brake as he comes into the S's. He wants to get past Paul O'Neill now, and Andrew Jordan, of course, is tucked in behind him as well. Then it's next up, just having a look who's tucked in behind them. We've got a lap car. There's Neil. Matt Neal's gone down the inside. Unusual place to go through.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Paul O'Neill's car is slightly hobbled because that is an unusual place to go through, and he must have been slow through the bomb. Well, Andrew Jordan's looking at being the next one through.
Jason Plato's in that queue, but he's a lap down, so you have to sort of discount Plato. Meanwhile, this is the battle up front, James Nash and Colin Turkington, and as they go across the line with 2 laps to go, Nash is still controlling this. Look at Matt Neal. This is how he got past O'Neill.
Yeah, well, it looks, yeah, Paul O'Neill ran wide and had to back out the throttle, and Matt was instantly alongside before they got to Coram.
And look at this,
Jordan. Andrew Jordan through now.
Yeah, Jordan's got past him as well, so Paul O'Neill is dropping one after the other. Ooh, he's still fighting back, but I don't think he's going to be able to make it, although he's still fast in a straight line. Plato's joining in the fun, despite being a lap down. James Nash still leads this race, though, in the Silver Line Chevrolet after a brilliant display.
3 into 1, next shot.
Jordan's got it. Jordan is just in front, and Plato follows through. I thought that was going to end in tears.
Yeah, I did as well, but they managed to make it. Good driving by all 3.
Adam Jones coming through next, and then it's James Thompson. Still, anything could happen here, but we've got only just over a lap to go in this one. Jason Plato a lap down, remember, he's actually in 14th place, despite following Andrew Jordan, who's in 6th position. Oh, really bouncing over the curve there, Andrew Jordan, but just about kept it on the island.
Yeah, you could tell he was British Rallycross champion, can't you, as he gives it the flick from one curve to another.
Yeah, great car control. But can James Nash make history here and take his first ever touring car victory? Meanwhile,
look at Giovanardi.
Yeah,
absolutely monstering the inside of the track.
And Turkington is having to defend very hard from the 2 Vauxhalls. Giovanardi and Matt Neal. This still is going to play out. This is helping James Nash. James Nash is making a break here, and he could well be on for his first ever win after a stunning drive. But what's going to happen for second? Turkington goes one way, the other. Giovanardi surely going to put an attack in here. Giovanardi has a look. No, can't quite get down the inside. Turkington holds it. Locking up front is Nash. He's still got a half a lap. Then he's lost a bit of time there. He's lost a bit of time. Turkington's going to still attack.
Well, I really hope he can pull this off, and of course it does bear incredible similarities to that first meeting at Brands Hatch when Johnny Adam touched the back of Jason Plato and then went on to win the race, but was subsequently penalised. But he looks like he's going to win it on the road at least.
James Nash through the final corner. I think he's done enough here. Turkington holding on to second place. James Nash is going to take his first ever win in British touring cars, his first season of touring cars. What a result for the youngster from Newport Pagnell. He has done it. He's held off some of the best in British touring cars, and he has done it in style. That restart he did earlier was perfection. Well done to James Nash. He beats championship leader Colin Turkington, double champion Fabrizio Giovanardi, double champion Matt Neal. What a result for the youngster. Stunning indeed. Fifth place went to Andrew Jordan. Behind him, James Thompson, Paul O'Neill was seventh, then Adam Jones, Johnny Adam and Dave Pinkney rounded out the top 10. But Tim, we have a new star.
Once again, the British Touring Car Championship throws up a new name, a new star. Great drive by James Nash. Fully deserved that win, did everything right, and brilliant performance.
He's going to celebrate that one. The way he withstood the pressure there was absolutely remarkable. Way he held on out in front. Turkington had the pressure on him in the end from Fabrizio Giovanardi, but you have to say that it's been a remarkable weekend as well for Giovanardi, the double champion who has come to Snetterton after the break, and it's no doubt that Giovanardi's back in the title hunt big time because he pressurised Turkington all the way. He's had 2 wins today and a third. Let's just confirm that final result then. It was victory for James Nash. Turkington took second place, Giovanardi a fighting third, and all the Vauxhalls together then with Matt Neal fourth and Andrew Jordan in fifth. James Thompson was sixth in the end from Paul O'Neill, Adam Jones in eighth place, Johnny Adam in ninth, and David Pinkney was 10th for Team Dynamics. Behind them, Martin Johnson, then John George and Gordon Shedden. Plato a lap down, but still up there in the battle. Collard out of it, I'm afraid. So was Jelly after the contact between the two cars. Chilton out, and Harry Volkard, unfortunately, a victim of an incident early in this race. But let's just see what that has done to the points as well, because up front, Colin Turkington, he came into Snetterton leading the points and he's still there, but the lead has been reduced by Fabrizio Giovanardi, who's definitely had the best weekend overall. 2 wins and a third place. He's on 163 points, and he's moved well ahead now of Matt Neal. Jason Plato's in 4th, then Collard, Thompson, Jelly, Andrew Jordan in 8th place, Johnny Adam in 9th, and Adam Jones in 10th position. So, a really impressive run from James Nash. There he is, into scrutineering, and thankfully it did manage to move away from there, otherwise he'd be disqualified, but no such problems. And, well, let's get a view of this youngster who was racing Formula Ford in the UK just a couple of years ago, and now has suddenly, if you like, burst onto the British touring car scene. He came in at Alton Park, he had an 11th place finish on his debut, had problems in the rest of the races. Croft, he had a 13th place, was his best at Croft, and now here he is in his 3rd British touring car outing, and he's come through in the reverse grid race to take victory and fend off some of the best in the business. Absolutely brilliant. He's making sure he does all the business by putting the steering wheel back on, and the fans here at Snetterton in Norfolk have enjoyed a great day's racing. Up and down, topsy-turvy results, and a lot of incident as well. Let's get down and get some reaction from James Nash with Louise.
Well, the boy is definitely overexcited. He's just knocking over his first place notice here, but who can blame him? I mean, fantastic result in his first season in the British Touring Car Championship, and he gets his first victory.
I thought it was all going wrong earlier yesterday and the start of today, but it's all come back together. Guys have done a fantastic job with the car and getting it all fixed, and it's a good setup. It's fantastic, lovely.
I was chatting to Rupert Menwaring from your team earlier on, and he said to me the thing about James is he's not frightened to mix it with the big boys, and you certainly proved that today, didn't you?
Not at all, you know, we're all here to win and just do the job. So I want to win, and that's what it takes. So fantastic.
Potentially a slightly controversial victory, though. Just talk us through that incident with Rob Collard, the little tap that you gave him.
Rob ran out onto the curb a bit wide, and it lost him speed. So I stuck my nose quite early up on the inside, and he kept coming across. So we'll see what happens, but to me it's a fair thing. And he wants to keep moving, he can. I don't have to back out.
So your conscience is quite clear on that one?
You know, what happens, but at the minute I've won, and that's on the track I've won. So.
And do you think this is going to be the first of many victories?
Of course, yeah, multiple wins, I'm sure. No, we'll keep winning, so it'll be great, yeah, fantastic.
Congratulations, I'll leave you to celebrate it with your team here. Let's grab a word with second place finisher Colin Turkington, coming in to shake hands with the victor. Yeah, no way you could catch that boy Nash today, was there?
No, he was going very well in those last few laps. You know, once the safety car went in, I think everybody was struggling because we were so long behind the safety car. The tyre pressures were down, so and the oil before the safety car, you know, made it very difficult. But yeah, I'm pleased to get the RAC car on the podium again and some more points and finish in front of him.
Just tell us about that moment when the safety car came in. I mean, it looked. How much notice did you have of it? It looked like not very much. It looked like it caught people unawares.
Yeah, the safety car came out of the pit lanes very late, you know, and the instruction is, you know, race to the first safety car board, and that's at the start-finish line. So, you know, I think it maybe came out a little bit too late, but you know, I brake late and Paul went straight into the back of me, you know, and thankfully I was unharmed.
Great result for you, great weekend for you as far as the championship's concerned.
Yeah, it's another good points haul. You know, we haven't been quite on the pace today, but we've been thereabouts. So you know, look forward to Knockhill and you know, keep getting on the podium again.
Well done. Let's grab a quick word with Fabrizio Giovanardi. 2 victories, 1 third place. Doesn't get much better than that, does it?
Yeah, I have to say I'm happy, but I wasn't because at the beginning it was really close to Colin. I have to make the race on him. Anyway, I gained some points against him, and it was a great weekend anyway, so I expect to have the same car the next time. So we'll see.
You've been on fire this weekend. Can we expect more next time out at Knockhill?
Yeah, of course. Sure.
Look forward to it.
Fire.
Back to you, Steve.
Thanks, Lou, and that's our Snetterton action. One more reminder that in the championship, Giovanardi has made some significant progress. Turkington has limited the damage, certainly in that third race of the afternoon. He started the day with a 25-point lead. That's now down to 12. Matt Neal now some way distant in third, but a fascinating final race of the day, Tim Harvey. We'll talk about the implications for the championship in a moment. But James Nash, is it too much to say that a new star is born? Maybe it is, but he showed an amazing maturity there.
He did, as I said in the commentary. I met him last year, at the end of last year, and I was immediately struck by his maturity and professionalism, very much unfazed by getting in a touring car, and he's really swept in under the radar. He hasn't come up through sort of the traditional UK routes of Clio Cup, but he's raced in Europe in Seat, so he knows all about one-make panel bashing.
Exactly how difficult is it when you see the best in the business looming large in your mirrors, as he must have done through the last 4 or 5 laps?
Yeah, I mean, the ability of a racing driver, and the thing we all thrive on, is the ability to still deliver under pressure. It's what all top sportsmen thrive for. And when you see that in someone so young and so inexperienced, you know straight away that you've got a young star there.
Now, what have we seen today in terms of the championship? Have we seen the championship challenge of Giovanardi, the defending champion, launched once again?
Very much so. I mean, he's really thrown the gauntlet down now to Colin Turkington, who's been consistently the best sort of results finisher. Gio started off his year terribly, but he's got such class, and you could see the fire in the way he was closing down in that last race. I mean, 2 wins and a third place. It's closed him massively up in the championship. Pulled him away from Matt Neal, which may mean that there are some Vauxhall team orders coming in, but the fight's well and truly on.
Turkington today, are you surprised that we didn't see a little bit more from him?
Yeah, perhaps. I mean, it didn't work out. Everybody thought, well, you know, he was going to win the first race and he was nowhere. Jason Plato adopted the sort of boom or bust philosophy, drove a brilliant race in the second race, but the first and third races weren't there. And Colin is having to learn. It's the first time he's been challenging for the championship. He's got to learn how to balance that aggression with consistency of finishing, which, of course, Gio knows how to do.
Yeah, is it a bit too early in this championship to go boom or bust like Jason did?
Yeah, but Jason wants to win races. I mean, you know, he's out there to win races if he can, and he probably had the fastest car here this weekend.
Quick thought about Knockhill in 2 weeks' time. It'll certainly be different to this place.
It could not be more different. I mean, we go from the fast straights here of Snetterton to the tight confines of Knockhill. It's a circuit that drivers absolutely love to drive, but it always produces loads of incidents in the races. It's up and down, it's tight and twisty. There'll be plenty of action, and it'll be interesting to see how those 2 championship protagonists cope with that pressure.
Yeah, we got a fascinating championship battle on our hands. Turkington from Giovanardi. Battle rejoined at Knockhill in 2 weeks' time. Tim, thanks very much indeed. Let's just give you a quick reminder of other sport coming up on ITV4 in the next few days. Thursday, Fulham face FK Vetra in their Europa League qualifier with a 3-goal advantage from the first leg. That's ITV4 7:30 on Thursday. On Sunday, catch highlights of the FA Community Shield between Chelsea and Manchester United. And the following Wednesday, that's Wednesday the 12th, full live coverage of England's friendly with Holland in Amsterdam. That's 7:30 ITV1. And that's all before our next instalment from the High Q British Touring Car Championship, rounds 18, 19 and 20 from Scotland's Knockhill. Well, Snetterton is flat and fast. Knockhill is undulating, demanding. It's bound to be wet as well. See how the Touring Car Championship story moves on in Scotland in 2 weeks' time. Bye-bye.